Hello vinyl community, this is Mike, PC31. This is all of the videos I've posted so far, which has not been very many, but they've all been based on contests, which have been fantastic. But this is the first one I've done, which is all about my January pickups. And it's been quite a big month because I think I picked up about 15 vinyl and about 4 or 5 CDs. So I'm just going to run through those relatively quickly. So just quickly going through CDs first. So the first pickup was Nick Cave, Dig Lazarus Dig, and that's from 2007, Nick Cave's 14th album. This was his first one he released after the first Grinder Man album, and it's very kind of garage rocky like Grinder Man. So Nick Cave. Then picked up from 1974. I've got this on vinyl anyway, and it's always been my favourite Genesis album for many years. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, Peter Gabriel. It was the last Gabriel album, but absolutely fantastic. Picked that one up, double album. Couldn't leave this one at the shop. Skinhead. I've got lots of Skinhead albums on vinyl, but this was one of the many greatest hits albums they released, but had to pick that one up, probably for the car. And the really great find on CD, which I'm very pleased about, is a Pete Townsend CD, which I didn't even know existed. It's called Derelict, and it's a really good album. So it's a rock opera, more of a radio type play, but it's really good stuff from Pete Townsend. It's all about an aging kind of rock star and a music critic and his manager, so there is a story to it. And to enjoy the album, you do need to read kind of the story first, but it's a really excellent album from 1993, Pete Townsend, Derelict, really good. Right, moving on to the vinyl now. One thing I've never ever touched these albums before. Now that's what I call music. But I actually ordered this one last year. It's only come out about a week ago, end of January. But now that's what I call music, punk and new wave. And so I've never bought one of these Now albums before. But it's such a great track listing, I couldn't leave it. And it's in pink vinyl, so it's terrific. There's, I can't remember how many tracks there are on it now, but the only missing ones, the big missing ones, huge missing ones, are Sex Pistols and the Buzzcocks, which is a disappointment. That's obviously tied up for licensing, copyright reasons. But the Clash are on it, all the big names. I heard a criticism that it was very kind of British centric and not too many US and international stars on it. But there are, I think someone counted, there were about 16 on there. And it is actually based on the British charts. So that's the reason why it's predominantly a lot of British artists. But loads of great artists on there. I was so impressed. I also looked at the CD. And on the CD, there are 89 tracks. And I think there's about 36 on that one. So I had to pick up the CD as well. You won't be able to see it, it's too small. But there are loads of fantastic tracks. So that's a really good pickup. And I've already played it lots of times. So, this was an album which I didn't really focus on at all. I've got lots and lots of Kinks albums and CDs, but this one I just didn't particularly want for the collection. But I picked it up at a record fair the other day, Percy, and it's the soundtrack from the film that Ray Davies wrote, and it's a Kinks album. And I'm really surprised. That's what I've actually got on now behind me, but it's a terrific album. The main single from it, I believe, is God's Children. I think that was released as a single, but it's from 1971. It's got things on it like Lola instrumental track, and there's blues tracks on it, but it's a very good album, and it's from the British comedy film, also I think from 1971, which had Britt Ekland in it, Denham Elliott, Alki Summer, etc. But it's a very enjoyable album, much better than I thought it was going to be, and I played that one quite a lot as well. I've got a real mixed bag here, folks. So we now move into the Red House Painters, and this is an album called Old Ramon, And I've actually had this on MP3 for quite a few years. It came out in 2001, and I've got quite a few Red House Painters albums, and this has always been my favourite, but I never had it on vinyl. But I managed to pick it up just the other day. This is the 6th and final one. I don't know how well known they are in the vinyl community, probably very well known, but it's deemed slowcore, folk rock, and it's quite depressing kind of music in a way, but I love it. I think it's really good. Classic tracks from it: River, Cruiser, Void, Michigan. Brilliant album. It's been called a timeless beauty, and I agree with that. It's Old Ramon is my favourite Red House Painters album, so I'm pleased to have that on vinyl now. Another album I've been looking at for a long time, and I've had this on CD for quite a long time, but I managed to pick it up. The Cure's Disintegration. I always think Cure at their best when they're doing their gothic rock, their more depressing type stuff. There's a theme here, but I think this is a great album from 1989, gothic rock. One of my other favourite albums of theirs is Pornography from 1982, and this is from 89. I think those two are their best albums in my opinion. But it did really well actually. Number 3 in the UK, number 12 in the US. Disintegration. Great album. Next one, which hasn't happened for me before, but I've been after an album by these guys for a while, and at the moment it's not working for me. The Ozark Mountain Daredevils. Picked this up from a record fair. It's their debut album, back to 1973, country rock album. And it's produced by Glenn Johns, which is a really good thing. Doesn't quite happen for me at the moment. I've only played it, I think, once, and maybe it'll be a grower. I'll give it another chance, but not quite working for me at the moment. Next album is definitely working for me at the moment, and I've just been playing it actually. The wonderful B52s. I absolutely love the B52s, and this was one of their albums that I never come across at all, and wanted it from a long time, and I found it in a shop the other day. From 1983, it's their 3rd album, and it's an interesting one because this is the one where Keith Strickland, the original drummer, he basically gets fed up playing the drums, and he moves across to drum machines and keyboards and guitars. And I think this was the last one they did before Ricky Wilson passed away, I believe. I need to research that a little bit more, but it's the 3rd studio album. Great album. Love the B52s. Kate Pearson's vocals, absolutely fantastic. Love them. This album's also a bit of a disappointment. One I was quite pleased to get a hold of. John Barleycorn Must Die, Traffic. I know a lot of people love this album from 1970, and it was meant to be Steve Winwood's debut album, but then I think he called Jim Capaldi into the project, and Chris Wood as well, and it turned into a Traffic album. Not keen at the moment. Prog rock. I think it's the jazz, the more jazzy aspect of it that is not working for me at the moment, because I'm not a great lover of jazz, and I think this just goes down that road a little bit too far. But I'll give it some more spins, but not working for me at the moment, that one. This one's definitely working for me, and from the first play, it's a 12-inch from Sir Mick Jagger. He wrote this in 2017. It's all about kind of the confusion and frustration of our times. It's a double A side, Got to Get a Grip and England Lost. Absolutely brilliant album. I've only got one other solo Mick record, which is the Goddess in the Doorway, but this has made me want to pick up some more. I always pick up Keith's albums and pick up the super deluxe versions as well. I love Keith, but this is an absolutely terrific 12-inch, and I picked this up for about £3 from a shop, so that was a steal. Next one from a band from New Zealand who I saw in the 70s at the Hammersmith Odeon. I think it was their first tour when they came over. Split Ends, who obviously morph into Crowded House, but with the Finn brothers. I think this is mostly Tim on this one. 1977, their third album, and this has got Jeff Emerick producing, so that's a really good thing. The Beatles connection, absolutely fantastic. But Dysrhythmia, their third album. Dysrhythmia is another word apparently for jet lag. But the big singles from this, My Mistake and Bold as Brass. But I really like Split Enz. Since I saw that gig way back in the 70s, they've always appealed to me, and I followed Crowded House when they turned into that as well. So the next one, just scribbled a few notes because I've got so many albums here. But this was a nice pickup. I've got lots of Elvis vinyl, Elvis Costello vinyl. And this is a 1989 compilation, which I hadn't come across before, double album. And it basically covers Elvis's songs from 77 to 86. And there are all the songs on here were written by Elvis, so that takes a lot out, like Good Year for the Roses and Peace Love. But and this one was also produced by Jeff Emerick and his longtime producer Nick Lowe. Love Nick Lowe. But it's a very, very good album. I've given that a good spin. Great cover as well. Haven't got too many Donovan in the collection, and I picked this one up the other day for a really good price from a shop. And this is Donovan's greatest hits from 1969. Got to number 4 on the Billboard. Mickey Mouse produced this one. But there's a few interesting things in there, like for instance, possibly my favourite Donovan song, Sunshine Superman. This is not the single version, this is a very long version. This is an extra minute and 15 seconds or so. Also, a lot of the songs they were released on mono, and on this album was the first time a lot of the really big ones had come out in stereo. And Mellow Yellow, Sunshine Superman, Hurdy Gurdy Man, Jennifer Juniper, Season the Witch, Catch the Wind. Really good album, pleased to get hold of that one. This was a purchase inspired by Mr. Rob Walker there in Manchester. I know he's a great fan of the Gorillaz, and I picked up Pebble Beach. Wanted this one for a little while, and when I saw Rob with it, I thought, yeah, I really must get hold of that. I absolutely love the artwork on this album. It's superb. Only given it one spin so far, but I like it. It's a good album from 2010. Didn't realise that there were so many guest artists on it. Lou Reed, Marky Smith from The Fall, Bobby Womack, and the wonderful Mick Jones and Paul Simonon from The Clash, who I love. Interesting story with this one. The title, apparently, Damon Albarn had a house next to the beach, and he was walking on the beach and he was seeing plastic in the sand. So that's where Plastic Beach came from. Okay, the Gorillaz. Next one I have, and the last one actually, I've actually shown this a few times, but it was one of my purchases in January, so just got to show it again. Noddy Holder and the Boys, good old Slade. And in a previous video I showed it, and this is the reason why I've got the original from this from 1972, but picked up this one last week because I couldn't resist the splatter. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Slade Alive, 1972. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, folks, and got some things from it. I'm going to do one of these each month, so just to show what I've picked up the previous month. But now back to the contests. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.